There's millions of people out there worried about their Social Security checks, retirement, survivor benefits, spouse, disability, SSI. And I know I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. I do a live Q&A pretty much every day, and I help people navigate the bureaucracy. And a lot of people out there are completely stressed. And because their local offices are closing down, they don't pick up the phones at the local office. The customer service is slowly diminishing. It's going to get even worse with all of the firings and the reduction in force of the Social Security offices throughout the country. And people are wondering about, should they retire now? Should they wait? What's going to happen with their check in the future? And my regular viewers know that I have not been super optimistic, but I do see perhaps a silver lining here. If we can get the silver lining out, this might actually just be good for Social Security and your checks. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of time. Usually these videos last about an hour, and then I talk about the topic of the day for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I answer any and all of your questions. Already see some questions coming through. But let me go ahead and take a little bit more time and kind of walk this out. And this actually, all of this chaos and anarchy and stress might actually be good. It's finally, I guess, sorry, an old Marine Corps sergeant, so I have to use some type of language here that you might not appreciate, but maybe we're finally flushing the toilet of some of this garbage that's been around for decades. And I'm going to explain what I'm talking about here in a little bit. Okay, so there's two processes here that are happening. All of the employees throughout the country, they're looking at about 7,000. Those are 1,200 plus field offices throughout the country, and there's no rhyme or reason who's getting fired, voluntold to leave, early retirement, moved out, pushed out, whatever the case may be. And that is not definitely not good, because people are still needing help to file for their benefits, to get their Medicare started, their retirement benefits, all of the rest of it, disability. But Social Security has been begging Congress for decades. Our system is antiquated. It's based on old COBOL and Fortran from the 1970s. We really need to upgrade it. We've been keeping it together with, pretty much, bubble gum and string for way, way, way too long. And we really need to update the system to at least, come on, the 1800s, 1900s, to, modern technology. And Congress has refused to give Social Security the resources to update their system. And because of it, we know all the issues going on. It's not the most efficient system. It's amazing that they have such a low, rate of kind of overpayments, less than 1%. But the system needs to be upgraded. And now with essentially, so few employees and losing more employees every single day, people still need help. So maybe this has the unintended consequence of, say, okay, people need help and we need to get more efficient as an agency because we don't have any employees anymore out in the field offices. Now we have to update the computer system. So normally, under normal circumstances, you do this opposite, but they've done it, bass backwards. You update the computer system, you make everything more efficient and everything, and then you let employees go because you're more efficient. Okay, that's how it normally in the normal world, but we're not in the normal world anymore because politicians have, not done their job for the last few decades. So the opposite is happening. Unfortunately, because of that, there's going to be a time starting right now, that there's going to a lot of people that are going to unfortunately suffer and not get the benefits they're entitled to, not get the right check at the right time, because there's not Social Security employees there to help, and the computer system, might take weeks or months or whatever the case may be to come up to snuff. So unfortunately, a lot of people are going to suffer because they're doing it opposite like this. But hopefully this pushes Congress to actually, give Social Security the resources to upgrade their computer system. Okay, so unintended consequences, perhaps good for the long term. A lot of people are going to suffer on the short term, but anyway. All right, so the other one is They're essentially slowly, piece by piece, taking away the public relations, the weapons that politicians have been using to bash Social Security since basically 1935. So there's been an element of politicians and business leaders and everything that have always hated Social Security since it was since 1935, and they've always said, it's nothing but a Ponzi scheme, and it's all fake money and all that kind of stuff. So right now, because Social Security is such the center of attention, a lot of those weapons that politicians have been using to beat up on Social Security are slowly being taken out of their arsenal. So, for instance, let's say the trust fund, it's not actually there, and it's stolen. It was given away to these people or these other people or whatever. It's all fake money. It's monopoly money or whatever the case may be. But why do why does Wall Street and the business class and everything want that trust fund? It's what, 2.6 trillion, 2.7 trillion dollars in the trust fund. I put the links in my description on my YouTube, where it has the Social Security Trustees report. It has the Congressional Budget Office report in there that there's 2.6, 2.7 trillion. The numbers haven't come out for 2024 yet, but there's about 2.6 trillion dollars in the trust fund. And if that was fake money, then why does Wall Street want that money so much? Why does Wall Street want the FICA tax that comes in every year, the new money coming in every year, if it's fake money? So that kind of takes that weapon out of there, that it's all fake and it's all been stolen. It's not actually there. What is happening is the trust fund itself, yes, the Social Security Trust Fund is being depleted. So you've got, and these are 2023 numbers. So about 1.1, the 2024 haven't come out yet, but about 1.1 trillion dollars that comes into Social Security in 2023, but about 1.2 trillion went out. People are receiving, retirement benefits, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, whatever the case may be. And so this much came in, that much went out. What's covering the gap? The savings, aka the trust fund. So in 2023, about $70 billion came out of the trust fund and went into checks. Last year, it's probably going to be about let's say $100 billion came out of the trust fund, and it's going into people's checks. This year, if you're getting a Social Security check, you're getting your trust fund back. And it also earns interest. But the problem is, with any savings, you keep taking that money out of the savings, it slowly diminishes. So in about 2033, 2034, then that trust fund is going to be depleted, and this much coming in, that much going out, it can't. If this much comes in, that much has to go out. So that's why there's going to be cuts about 20 or 22%. So it's not, Social Security is not going bankrupt. Social Security will be here for as long as people work and pay into FICA tax. The problem is X amount comes in, that's how much goes out. Even though people are supposed to receive, let's say, $1,000 a month, they're only going to receive, let's say, 80% of that, $800, because the trust fund isn't there to cover the gaps. So it's not going bankrupt. It's going to be here for a long, long time. It's just that benefits are going to be reduced, and the people that really depend on those benefits are going to be suffering. It's going to be very, very difficult. Okay, so luckily that has been a topic of discussion about, hey, why does Wall Street want this money so bad if it's fake? So that's kind of taken that out of their arsenal. The other is, this has been going on for a decade, that there did people receiving Social Security benefits. This is an old story, an old acorn going back, chestnut, I guess, going back to 2015. The Government Accountability Office said, hey, Social Security, you've got all these people that you haven't officially, you haven't filled out this little line in the, in the numident is called. And Social Security says, yes, we understand, but no money comes out of that database. So Elon Musk talks about it on a regular basis. He seems to be obsessed with that database. Hey, you know how much money comes out of that database? Zero. It's called the numident, the NUMI. That is your Social Security number, your date of birth, your parents' name, where were you born, your mother's maiden name. If you have a Social Security card, you have that. Zero money comes out of that database. $0 have come out of there since 1935. The database that actually pays money is the MBR, the Master Beneficiary Record. So those, that 20 million people, they are not in pay, in LAFC, as they call it internally. they are not in pay. They're in suspense or terminated. So is this record perfect? No, the Social Security doesn't have date of deaths, so they can't plagiarize and falsify the documents and say they do have an official date of death. But it doesn't matter; these people are not in pay. So Social Security says, "Hey, we can fix it, but it's not going to save any money for the American people. So why waste money?" So okay, so now we've pretty much everybody in the country understands that dead people are not receiving Social Security. Elon Musk still seems to be obsessed, but we'll let him have his fun with those particular records. And the Commissioner of Social Security, the acting Commissioner of Social Security today came in and came out with a broadcast that says, hey, yes, we know, but it's less than 1/3 of 1% incorrect records out of all that. And I did the numbers, and 2/3 of 1% of SpaceX rockets blow up. So if Elon Musk says Social Security needs to end because they make 1/3 of 1% mistakes, then SpaceX should close down here pretty soon as well. So, but I'm just kind of running out numbers. All right, and here's one, an old chestnut that's been running around, because these are all the internet myths that people use to attack Social Security, because they understand that Social Security is one of the most popular programs in America. Over 80% approval rate with people. Can it be better? Yes. Does it have fraud, waste, and abuse? Of course it does. That Social Security employees find every single day. Elon Musk doesn't seem to be able to find any, but Social Security employees, people working under their early retirement age, working and receiving disability, to find that fraud, waste, and abuse, it's not sexy. It's just individual cases, looking at individual cases. But so in order to dismantle Social Security and give it out to billionaire buddies and all the rest of Wall Street, you have to destroy people's confidence. You have to destroy people's view of Social Security. And how do you do it? You work over the decades and you make people hate Social Security by its trust fund is not real, or they're giving money to illegals, there's giving money to dead people and all that kind of stuff. So that is a concerted effort by people that want to destroy Social Security. But now, right now, all of those weapons are being taken away. So I'm very optimistic if we can play this right. If we play this right, all these weapons are now going to be gone. Okay, the dead people thing, we finally fixed that after a decade or so. We're finally we're done with that. Illegals. Elon Musk and the DOGE kids have been knee deep in Social Security records for about a month now. If you think they found millions of people illegally in this country receiving Social Security benefits, do you think they would have publicized it? Heck yeah, well, they would have publicized it. They've been looking for fraud, waste, and abuse in Social Security. The only thing they've come up with is this particular file over here doesn't have the date of death. That's it. Social Security has known about that for a decade or so. They'd be more than happy to fix it, but it's a waste of money to fix it. So illegals are not receiving Social Security benefits. How do I know? I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, survivor benefits, disability claims, spouse benefits. If you come into Social Security, you want to file for retirement benefits, you have to provide your data. You have to provide your birth certificate. If you're a citizen, it's based on the numident that you were born in the United States. Okay, you're a citizen. If you were born outside the United States, you have to provide your certificate of naturalization or your green card. And then we take your green card and put it through a save system, which contacts the INS and confirms that the green card is correct and you're in this country legally. So that's the procedure. But for decades, this internet myth that people are receiving Social Security benefits that are in this country illegally. If that was the case, that would have been, you look in the DOGE website, that would have been top number one. Millions of illegals are receiving Social Security retirement benefits. Millions of illegals are receiving, disability benefits. But have you seen it? No, because it ain't there, right? So another weapon we took away from the people trying to attack Social Security. Here's a new one: telework. Since the COVID, Social Security employees have been doing telework. They've been working from home. People said, you need to work. You need to return to work. Well, they have been working from home. You can monitor somebody on the phones, whether they're in the next cubicle or whether 10 miles down the road, just as easily. I know the internal systems. You can see who exactly is on the phones, how long they've been on the phone, how long their break has been. People with appointments, offices throughout the country assign their appointments to their claim specialist every single day. And you can do that whether the person's 5 feet away from you or 5 miles away from you. If you want to return people to work, to their offices, not to work, they've already been working, but if you want to return in telework and return people to offices, okay, fine. That is happening this week. So the president and DOGE or acting commissioner said, we're going to suspend telework and everybody needs to return to the office. So the proof is in the pudding here. Politicians had a special committee at the House of Representatives and said, hey, the reason there's 3-hour wait times on the phones, the reason you can't get an appointment is because people are working from home and they're not actually working. Okay, now they're going to be back at the offices. So call Social Security this week. And if you get your call answered in 5 minutes, then they were right. If not, maybe they were giving you some smoke. And it's interesting that they said, well, as long as we return employees back to their offices, everything will be cool and copacetic and they'll answer the phone. And, it won't take, 12 months to get a disability claim approved and everybody will get free ice cream and unicorns. But then in between that, they fire all these thousands of people. So, okay, do you want people to return? Do you want Social Security employees? Because this is a contract. When you pay your FICA taxes for all the decades, part goes to Social Security and the other part goes to Medicare. But this is a contract since 1935. You pay your FICA taxes, and then when you need that money, you get it. If you're unable to work, disability, if you pass away, your surviving spouse gets it. If you turn 62 and you want to file for retirement benefits, you get it. And part of the contract is when I need it, someone will be there, a Social Security employee will be there to help me make sure I get the right check at the right time. And politicians have decided to not honor that contract. Now they are not providing help for you to get your benefits. And that's one of the reasons I do this channel, is because too many people, if you watch my channel on a regular basis, you'll see there's just way, way too many people not getting the benefits they've earned and need in terms of, they file for the wrong benefits. And so, yeah, I help people all the time. Okay. And the other thing, so telework, you'll find out that that's not necessarily the case when you call Social Security this week or next week or the week after that. It wasn't about telework employees not working or whatever. Okay. And the other thing that finally flushing the toilet on is Social Security adds to the debt. No, Social Security is self-funded. It does not add 1 penny to the debt. Yes, the $2.6 trillion is in treasury bonds, but when Social Security has to pay that out to people, they pull those bonds back with interest. They get interest. So Social Security, we're the people that pay into Social Security, those baby boomers from 1946 to 64 that put in, that money into that trust fund, they get interest on that and it's being paid back. So Social Security does not add 1 dime to the debt, 1 dime to the debt. So Ponzi scheme. Yeah, that's been another argument since 1935, and Elon Musk called it a Ponzi scheme. And a Ponzi scheme is illegal. So if it's truly a Ponzi scheme, then your Social Security checks is illegal money. You should never receive it. The whole thing should end. Well, it hasn't. Recent people from DOGE have gone to Congress, and they were asked specifically, "Do you think Social Security is a Ponzi scheme?" No. So we're finally getting rid of those, so we can finally have an honest discussion. Social Security needs to be fixed. The computer system needs to be updated. We need Social Security employees to be there to help you out, and also look for fraud, waste, and abuse. And we need to make sure there's no cuts in the future. And we can't do any of that until we start having a real serious conversation, rather than politicians trying to distract us by, the trust fund is being stolen and dead people. Those are just distractions. So, we look over here while they pick the pockets over here. Okay. And the ultimate goal is to give this money to Wall Street and to break it down, lose confidence and say, okay, well, the whole thing is not working anyway. Y'all broke it. And, politicians essentially are trying to break it. And when they break it, then they'll come in their white horse, and their white horse just happens to be a bunch of billionaires from Wall Street whining it. So a gift to Wall Street. So this is a perfect opportunity to have a serious conversation, get rid of all the garbage and have a serious conversation. And all of the pretty much 99% of the people that watch my channel on a regular basis would argue that the FICA cap is probably the best way to solve Social Security over the long term. Why getting rid of the FICA cap? What is the FICA cap? Most of you out there, if you make under $176,100 in this year, 2025, then you pay FICA Social Security on every dollar you make. For those out there that make over $176,100, you are exempt from Social Security FICA tax after that amount. And that's the problem. Since the 1980s, wages have been pretty much stagnant, but people that are making money are making tons of money, and they're not paying FICA tax on that. They're exempt from FICA tax on that. So if they paid FICA tax like the rest of us on every dollar they make, then Social Security would be around here for many, many more decades. And there's more solutions. There's other solutions. If you just don't like that solution, there's other solutions out there. I have got in my YouTube description, the Social Security Actuaries Report. And he's got this great little spreadsheet. Anytime anybody's got some great idea about how to save Social Security, the actuary pulls out their big calculator and says, okay, all right, here's your idea. And they run the numbers and they say, okay, well, that'll solve 5% of the problem. That'll solve 20% of the problem. That'll add this many months or this many years onto, the solvency so it don't get cuts. And the one that's the most popular is ending the cap. And there's actually bills in Congress right now to end the cap so everybody pays into Social Security like the rest of us schmoes, I guess. All right. So this is the time for a serious conversation. We finally, intentionally, unintentionally, Trump and Musk and DOGE and I don't know, somebody's playing three-dimensional chess with us, and they're doing this on purpose or unintentionally. I don't care what it is or who's at fault or who's to benefit, or we can benefit if we take this opportunity to finally flush the toilet on all this garbage, have a serious discussion about saving Social Security, and not fall for the trick and giving it over to Wall Street, but we keep it for the American people who actually need Social Security, need retirement. Okay. And there is why I think I'm optimistic. This is a very optimistic time if we play our cards right. So, all right, let's go ahead and let me get into some questions. The question and answer is always sponsored by Chapter Medicare. If you need help with Medicare, make sure you reach out to them. Okay. Let me jump through here. Thank you, Dr. Weir, for keeping us what's happening with Social Security. You're welcome. Everyone needs to call and email their politicians, let them know they will be voted out if Social Security Medicare is harmed. I like it. There you go. Call the switchboard. Call your politicians and say, hey, we're not falling for these tricks anymore. These, misdirections that y'all have been working on us for decades. Those have finally been put to bed, put to rest, and now we're only going to have honest discussions. So don't see how they're saying 150-year-olds are collecting benefits helps, but I'm here to listen, sir. Okay, yeah, I just did another one earlier, and the Commissioner of Social Security, the acting Commissioner of Social Security, who's also a DOGE guy, he said, yeah, they're not receiving benefits. They're just, again, you don't pay from the Nubinet. Pixel, I don't want Medicare. Is there a way to opt out of it? I would rather have my own insurance coverage. When you turn 65, Social Security or Medicare actually signs you up for Medicare automatically. If you have health insurance from current work, yours or your spouse's, and your employer has 20 or more employees, then you can opt out of Medicare. But as we used to say in the Marine Corps, you can do anything you want, but the repercussions are X, Y, and Z. You can opt out of Medicare if you want and go get private insurance or self-fund your insurance or whatever the case may be. But remember, if you did not have creditable coverage, current insurance from work, yours or spouse's, 20 or more employees, then if you change your mind or something happens in the future and you go get your own health insurance, but 5 years later you said, okay, well, I want to go back to Medicare, you will be penalized 10% for every 12 months you did not have Part B, and also Part D as well. So the prescription drug plan. So you're ignorant. Okay, like my wife is here. Anyway, Social Security is a scam and keeps people on food stamps, Section 8 housing, living in criminal military zones, and the constant worry of having enough money for medicine and food. Yeah, yeah, I don't know about ignorant. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. But yeah, for a lot of people, Social Security is just not enough. Social Security determines your benefit amount by your high 35 years of earnings. So if you don't pay into it very long or not, you don't earn very much throughout your life, then unfortunately your benefit amount is not very high. Remember, there is if you have a benefit amount that's under about $967, you're eligible for called SSI if you're disabled or you're 65 or older. So, was it the purge? If you're receiving under 967, call Social Security if you're 65 or older or disabled and file for SSI, supplemental security income. And if you're approved for that, it's based on it because it's a welfare-based benefit based on low income, low resources. Then if they approve you for that, then you're also categorically eligible for Medicaid from your state, and then possibly it makes it easier to get Section 8 housing and all the rest of it. But yes, I agree with you 100%. There's a lot of people out there that we need to increase benefit amount for those that really need it. I agree with you 100%. And ignorant, sometimes, yeah. So anyway, well, if they were taxing the rich like everyone else, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. Yes, that's a fact. That's one of the reasons the trust fund is running out is because the 1980s, people said, well, in the 1980s, they did the calculations wrong under the Greenspan Commission and Ronald Reagan. That's when they started taxing Social Security benefits and they did a lot of changes and they started building up the trust fund specifically for the baby boomers. So it's baby boomers' money and baby boomers are collecting it. So but one of the things they didn't foresee was that all of that money going to the top exempt from FICA tax. So if they would have saw that, then they would have said, okay, well, yeah, we need to do something definitely different. But they didn't see that. I mean, our work efficiency, our productivity for the people, normal people are, have gone up like that since the 80s, but our pay has pretty much stayed the same. So if our pay had kept up with productivity, then Social Security would be good for a long, long time. Nelson, we need to vote for someone who has the removing the FICA cap in their agenda. If the Democrats and Republicans won't do it, we, the people, need to turn to a third party candidate who will. Yeah, that's why I try to avoid, liberal and Democrats and conservative and Republicans and yada, 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 because all politicians, Trump, Biden, Trump before, Obama, Clinton, all the politicians the last 30 or 40 years have failed us. One party, I wouldn't even say one party, some group of people in both parties want to give it over to Wall Street, want to privatize Social Security, and the other have not been competent enough to fix it. So I blame them all. And you can remember 80% plus. So this is not a partisan thing. This is not liberal, Democrat, Republicans, conservative. 80+% of the American people support Social Security. So we are all joined together in this. There's not much in America that 80+%, agree on. But Social Security, this is one thing, but politicians see that and says, wow, these people are really united on, so they really want Social Security. So how can we divide them? Oh, we'll call, this communist and that and illegals and giving the money to Ukraine. And so that'll divide people. And then once we divide people, then we can, dole out Social Security to our billionaire sponsors on Wall Street. So, but we are smarter than that. Karen, are delayed retirement credits only payable when somebody reaches full retirement age at 70 and a half, or are delayed retirement credits payable to someone claiming benefits after their full retirement age of 67? Okay. Full retirement or delayed retirement credits are credits you earn after your full retirement age. So if you're 67 years old, every year you wait to collect your Social Security benefits, you get another 8%. So if your benefit amount, let's say, is $1,000 at 67, if you wait to start your benefits at 70, don't wait till after 70 because your benefits you get no more delayed retirement credits after the month you turn 70. But the month you turn 70, that's 24%. 8% times 3, 24%. So as soon as you start receiving those benefits, you get those delayed retirement credits. There is a kind of an accounting fluke that they pay the full year, but if you've got like 2 years and 4 months, they pay the 16%, but the 4 months they don't pay until the January because again, it's an old computer system. But you will get those benefits. You will get the extra. In terms of delayed retirement credits for a spouse, spouses do not receive those delayed retirement credits from a current or divorced spouse unless we're talking about a surviving spouse claim. So if surviving spouse claim, you do receive those delayed retirement credits, but not a living spouse. So if they want to privatize Social Security and the market crashes, who's picking up the pieces? Yes. People always say, well, I could have made more money on this, that, and the other. I was taking retirement claims in 2007 and 2008. And I can tell you, a lot of people came in and they say, this is all I'm going to get for retirement, and they say, yeah, I had a whole bunch of money in the market and it just crashed. And now all I'm going to be dependent on predominantly is Social Security. So, yeah, it's, and I think this is why I'm kind of optimistic. We can really, this can be a grand slam home run right now. This is a point in history where we can turn this into a grand slam home run, or we can strike out and, lose the game. Because right at this time, the stock market's, not doing well. And, so to say, to the American people, Wall Street and these, politicians are saying, yeah, you need to give your money over to Wall Street. But now the market's going down and people say, not so much. If it was going up, it might be an easier, argument to kind of present to people. But since it's going out, so the cards are all in our favor if we play them right. So, Jeff, someone had to save it. None of the other presidents did nothing but take from it or borrow against it because I paid since 1986. Yeah, no, it's still there. The 2 point, again, this is their distraction. Go into the Social Security trustees report. There's $2.6 trillion sitting in there. And yeah, what you paid into 1986. This is, I'll show you the graphic. I pop up here every now and then. Let's see here. Here it is. So these are the actual numbers. So this is 2023 numbers. 1.1 trillion came in, mostly from, people paying FICA that particular year. And then there's, close to 50 billion that came in from taxes on Social Security benefits, and 63 billion came in from interest. So a total of 1.1 trillion came in. The problem is 1.2 trillion paid out. Right now we're number one in history. More people are turning 65 this year than any time in U.S. history. Last year it was 2024. It was more people were turning 65 in 2024, but this year it's even more. 11,000 people turn 65 every day. So 1.1 trillion came in, 1.12 trillion went out. And what's covering that difference? The trust fund. So there's your money. So I see the little donation thing I put at the bottom. So probably this year, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% of your check comes from that trust fund you think is stolen. So if you think that's fake money or it's not actually there, then please donate 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% of your check to your local animal shelter or homeless shelter or whatever charity you like. If you, got any anybody has any ideas on a charity that they should donate to us, let us know. Donald Trump should be impeached. Okay, all right. So illegals pay over $20 billion a year into Social Security and they never receive it. Yes, exactly. Yes. That is a fact. You can look at the Office of the Inspector General, the Government Accountability Office, the Congressional Budget Office, the Social Security Trustees report. People, yes, they do work illegally in this country. You have an employer that wants the super cheap labor. They don't do the right thing. They allow the person to work. They don't check credentials for that person because they want the cheap labor. But they pay taxes. They the employee, the person not here legally, gets a fake Social Security number, uses someone else's Social Security number, and they work and they pay FICA taxes. But they will never get that money because they worked illegally. So that's a donation. So yeah, 20 billion. I've seen up to 37 billion or so. So yeah, billions of dollars are donated to the Social Security Trust Fund every year by people that are not, not in this country. And this is a good point too. If everybody should go in there and set up a Social Security account, my Social Security account, and then check it every now and then. And one thing I would do now is print it off. Go into my Social Security, SSA.gov, my Social Security, and print off your earnings record, all the money you paid into Social Security, print off your benefit amount, your projected future benefit amount, because once they update the computer system, hopefully everything goes good. But in case something happens, in Japan, they did this. They updated the computer system and they lost 50 million records. And it took them 10 years to recreate all those records. So, and the prime minister lost his job and everything. But anyway, hopefully it doesn't happen in the United States, but to be on the safe side, I would definitely download it. Okay, so go into your Social Security. And if you see earnings in there they don't recognize, so like last year you made $50,000, but it shows like you made $75,000 and it comes from, some, chicken warehouse in Topeka, then you're like, hey, that's not my earnings. And some people say, hey, I don't care. It's going to increase my benefit amount. Yes, it will. Until they catch that person who's using that Social Security card, your Social Security number illegally, and paying, FICA into your benefit amount, and your benefit amount is going up, they might catch that person next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. And when they do, they will take those earnings from you and say, hey, you have an overpayment. So check your records. So people say, well, I'll just, isn't it going to increase my benefit? Yes. But they just, you don't want that overpayment. And now they just changed the policy with the withhold 100% of your check if you have an overpayment. So one way to fix Social Security is deny benefits to Trump and Musk supporters. Oh yeah, no. Again, that's another reason people say, hey, Ed, you should really point out the names of the people in the party that's doing this. No, I don't want to. I try not to alienate people. I just focus on policy and not politics. 80% of people support Social Security, and I don't care who they support and politically. And if you need help getting your Social Security, I'm here to help. So I don't care what party you're in. Appreciate your efforts and extraordinary diligence for found the truth since you have the knowledge. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it. This is a deconstruction of the U.S. to a third world country. Klaus is so proud of Biden and Trump. Yeah. It's but I'm optimistic. I think we can turn this around. And if did they intend this? I don't know. But I don't care. I think we can. Yeah, I think we can take advantage of this. You should leave your personal liberal leaning at the door. Just give us the facts. I gave you the facts. I think you are extremely naive to think that there's limited fraud and abuse. I've never said that. I said there's fraud and abuse, but the dead people, there's no numbers there. Check on the DOGE website. Is there any numbers there about the hundreds of billions of dollars, supposedly the greatest fraud in history? Where's the numbers? There ain't, and there never will be. Are there numbers up there about billions of dollars of Social Security retirement benefits given out to illegals? No, because there won't be. Are there people receiving benefits that are not supposed to be receiving benefits, disability benefits, early retirement benefits? Yeah, of course. But it's not this massive thing. These are kind of one-on-one. Usually it's people just don't understand the system, don't understand, their work requirements when it comes to disability, the trial work period, the substantial gainful activity. And that's not, to find that fraud and abuse, it's, it's not sexy. It's employees at the local offices looking for that fraud and abuse. So, but yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't want to get too nice to have an intelligent look at what is going on. Yeah, thank you. I don't know about the intelligent part, but I try. I'm certain you ran a clean shop, but all the offices have the same ethics. Every district manager I talk to has always been, really, really good. But my employees are awesome. So I think, anyway, so that's why my office is so good. Social Security benefits are protected by federal law from debt collectors for medical bills and other consumer debt for garnishment and checking accounts. Not necessarily, the IRS can get pretty much anything they want. And so, but alimony, you can get garnished for alimony. You can get garnished for child support and stuff. So yes. And if you, include that in your bankruptcy, then they can't get your Social Security. Except for the IRS, they can, anyway, so. My thing is Elon got these young people running the Social Security system. There's bound to be something to go wrong with these people's Social Security benefits. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. Again, I say we turn the tables and say, okay, you've got these computer geniuses up there, and you've got a few $100 billion sitting around, but it sounds like less because Tesla stock is down in the tubes. But you just, still got a few $100 billion. So yeah, update the computer system, right? Or get Congress to pay for it, or whoever, but make the Social Security system more efficient. And then again, then you can let off employees, but don't let people suffer while we're waiting for that's just a bad business. If I were Trump Musk supporter, I would never collect a dime from Social Security. Yeah. With all due respect, sir, I've spoken to my area Social Security people and they don't have a clue. Appears they have never been trained or they have an IQ of 30. Yeah, I've run into a few of those as well. Yeah. The people, you just have to know what you're asking for. And one of the problems is, every organization has people that are not great. The people at the front windows are generalists. They're called CSRs, customer service representatives, and they're not experts in Title 16, the supplemental security income. They're not experts in Title 2 of the Social Security Act. I was a Title 2 claim specialist before I became a manager, and those are the people that adjudicate, process retirement, survivor benefits, and stuff. So the people at the front window, if you really, really need a question about retirement, SSDI or something, you really need to talk to a Title II claims specialist. And yes, the people at the front windows sometimes. One of the problems over the last few years is because Social Security is at a 50-year low in terms of staffing. They are barely treading water. And should they provide more training to their employees? Absolutely, 100%. There's no district manager throughout the country that would say otherwise. But they've got thousands of people at the doors and on the phones, and it's like, yeah, we need to take a few hours and train about this, but we're barely keeping up. And those bad employees, because you can't hire somebody else, if you have somebody only doing 60% of the work is under other employees, you're like, yeah, I'd really like to fire that person. Every district manager in all 1,200 offices probably has someone they would like to move on, but they can't get someone to replace that person. So it's like, okay, this person can, adjudicate 60. And obviously we review that 60%, make sure it's accurate, but they only do 60%. They don't do the 100% like the rest. But if we get rid of them, then it's 0%. And then, so if the offices could actually get a replacement, oh yeah, you'd see offices throughout the country firing people left and right. I've fired many federal employees, but at that time we could get replacements. Obviously, if people do the wrong thing, those are fired regardless if you get a replacement or not. If someone is just completely incompetent, then you fire them and everybody else suffers. But it is what it is. My check was cut when it hit my bank account on the 3rd. Can't seem to get anyone on the phone and didn't get notification that it was going to happen to early retirement now 70. Can I file for an appeal? Yes, you can always file an appeal. Anytime you disagree with the decision by the Social Security Administration, you have the right to file an appeal. It's SSA 561, a request for reconsideration. So same thing if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and if they deny your prior authorization, you file an appeal. And that's why one of the reasons I joined or I partnered with Chapter is because they have a customer service, a member success team, as they call it. And they help you with an appeal and prior authorizations and finding new doctors and stuff like that. So if you need, this is also the open enrollment period. You have until March 31st to check your Medicare Advantage plan. If you don't, then you might just be stuck with it for the rest of the year. So check to make sure you're in the best one, check to see if your doctors are in there, see if there's a better one out there. And you can actually switch to a Medicare supplement plan, return to original Medicare and get a Medicare supplement plan. You might have to go through health underwriting, but you can do this until March 31st. Nelson, one of our regulars, what's up? All those excuses that Elon Musk's using that he can't prove is just a misdirection plot, just to take your eyes away from what they have planned, which is to gut and privatize Social Security. Yeah, and this is not he didn't invent that. Politicians have been doing this, since 1935. They've been calling it a Ponzi scheme. So this is the longest lasting Ponzi scheme in world history. It's been going on for 90 years. So And by very nature, if you call something a Ponzi scheme, that means you're calling it illegal. So all of your Social Security checks are illegal. So you should all give them back because that is illegal money. So SBA, Survivor Benefits Allotment. This Musk is saying he found 11 years old getting loans, get serious people. No, that's the Small Business Administration. Yeah. So he said that, again, people use, so they should never use Social Security numbers for everybody, for everything. So people use Social Security numbers to get Small Business Administration loans. But that's not the fault of Social Security Administration. That's like saying, okay, people go get credit cards with someone else's Social Security number, and that's the fault of Social Security. No, it's just credit card companies decided to use Social Security numbers. Someone takes your Colt 45 and goes out there and kills someone. Is that the fault of Colt? If someone takes a car and goes out there, is that the fault of the fault of Freudian slip of GM or Ford or whatever the case may be? No. So that's what you have to watch out for. Watch for conflating. Politicians say Social Security X and then fraud. Okay, are those the same organization? Is that because, or are they just because they happen to use the Social Security number? So, okay, let's see here. Isn't that amazing that everyone is back to work? We all sweat the shit, and people in the know won't tell you anything. It's all about the clicks. Effective again. They've always been at work. They're just not in the office. Modern technology, phone systems, and internet and computers. You can work from anywhere nowadays. And so they were always working, but now they have to go back to the office, and that is they did it like almost, it's like starting basically tomorrow. You have to go back to the office, and that's another way to traumatize. And that was the Office of Management Budget. The guy says that's his intent. That is his plan, to traumatize federal employees, to get them out, to get as many to leave as possible, to gut the agency, and basically breaking the contract that people will be there to help you. So I turned 66 in 8 months, full retirement age in August. When should I make an appointment to receive Social Security benefits? Okay, so 3 months before you want to start your Social Security benefits, you can file online, call the 800 number, schedule an appointment. Make sure between now and then you check your earnings record to make sure, again, that's how they determine how much your benefit is going to be, based on your earnings record. So make sure that's all correct. If you see any mistakes, make sure you notify Social Security of any mistakes there. If you were born in the United States, then you don't even need your birth certificate anymore. They changed that regulation a few years ago. If you were not born in the United States, then you'll need your certificate of naturalization or your green card or whatever the case may be. And you should be good. And then if you got any spouses or anything like that, and if you served in the military, they'll ask you about when you served in the military. You might need your DD-214, but usually not. Been receiving early retirement benefits. Now I'm now 70. Benefits was cut when I checked my account on the third notification. Okay, yeah, again, yep. Already answered that one. Let's see. Edward, Social Security should have been the last government department to be gone through. There's plenty other real waste and fraud, and the government needs to be fixed first. Yeah, but there are more DOGE people, from what I understand, inside the halls of Social Security than any other agency. And it's not because there's more fraud there, because they haven't found any. There is fraud, obviously, but not the kind of fraud they're looking for. They're looking for, big, massive, millions of illegals and millions of people, dead people and stuff like that, in order to bash Social Security and to break it up. So in Medicare, there is fraud in Medicare, but Medicare and privatized Medicare. So if you want to see what privatized something looks like, that's a Medicare Advantage. That's essentially privatized Medicare. So if you want, privatized Social Security, then, Social Security Advantage, I guess. But a Medicare Advantage and original Medicare, they address fraud differently. So for a Medicare Advantage plan, they address fraud by catching it before. Okay, that's one way. And how do they do that? If your doctor says you need X, Y, and Z, then quite often your doctor has to get prior authorization from the health insurance company to do X, Y, and Z. Okay, that's their procedure. And sometimes they deny it when they shouldn't. But anyway, that's how they supposedly stop fraud, waste, and abuse. Medicare, original Medicare, and if you have a Medicare supplement, same thing. You keep your original Medicare. How they address fraud, waste, and abuse is they say, well, we're not going to get in between you and your doctor. If your doctor says you need it and it's medically necessary, like I can't go get a hair transplant. That's not medically necessary. But if it's medically necessary, then we don't second guess your doctor. You do it. But if we find out that doctor or clinic or hospital is doing some stuff that is kind of, not right, then we will go in there after the fact and investigate it and then take that person to court and maybe throw them in jail and all that kind of stuff. So you see, Medicare fraud happening all the time. So you have to pick your system. Do you want to have your doctor being second guessed and then catching the fraud later? Or, those are the two systems. So I'm not sure you're saying that what the president and his team are doing is potentially accidentally saving Social Security. I don't know. Are they playing three-dimensional chess with us? And Elon Musk is actually a genius and he's actually out there to save Social Security, to flush all the garbage that politicians have built over the last few decades. I don't know if he is. That's pretty awesome that he's actually going to save your Social Security check. Or the other side is, no, he wants to privatize Social Security and he really believes it's the, Ponzi scheme and the greatest, fraud in history and all that kind of stuff. And he actually wants to get rid of it. And he's unintentionally, if we play our cards right, he's unintentionally getting it fixed. I don't know. I can't read his mind. But all I know is we just might get this to work for us. After 2.5 months, wait to file my widow's benefits application. The phone interview went well. The interviewer was very professional and nice. Oh, perfect. Yeah, it took you 2.5 months. This is one place where people are really going to suffer, unfortunately, because of, 2.5 months. It sounds like Eric could wait for the 2.5 months. But people that, if you got someone that's 70 years old, 75, 80 years old, and you got a husband and wife, and they're getting 2 checks in the house, the higher wage earner, let's say the husband is receiving $2,000 and the wife is receiving $1,000. So you're getting $3,000 in the house. The husband passes away. The wife is entitled to the higher benefit, not $3,000 total. She gets $1,000 plus an extra $1,000 from him for a total of $2,000. But she doesn't get that benefit possibly until she files a claim. And she doesn't get to file a claim, maybe like Eric here, for 2.5 months. So Eric hopefully had some money to hold him over for Social Security, because there's no employees and staffing is terrible. But those people that can't wait that month or 2 months or 3 months, please, if you know anybody like that, ask them and says, hey, can you wait until Social Security because they don't have any staff, the office is closed, or whatever the case may be. Reach out to your politician and says, hey, this person needs to be put ahead of the list, ahead of the queue. They need benefits now. So let's please reach out to all those people like that. And the same type, there's millions of situations like that. If you lose your job all of a sudden, and you need to file for retirement and start your Social Security retirement benefits early, can you wait a month or 2 months or 3 months? If you lose your Medicare and you need to sign up, or if you lose your health insurance from work and you need to sign up for Medicare immediately, then can you be without health insurance for a month or 2 months or 3 months with, not seeing your doctor, not getting prescriptions and stuff like that until Social Security can see you? Yeah, this is why it should have been done opposite. It should have, let's make the whole system more efficient, do what Social Security has been begging for decades, update the computer system, make everything more efficient. And then, let people go if we don't need those people anymore. But don't do it that's just a terrible, cruel way to do it, if you ask me. So I love how you respond to negative comments, questions, and comments. You are a Social Security goat. Greatest of all. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I love the negative comments. I guess it's the old Marine Corps sergeant in me. I haven't found a really good one yet. I'm still waiting for my old Marine Corps drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Lone. If you're out here, please join us and show these people how to attack someone personally. You are that Staff Sergeant Lone is the GOAT. Yeah, he can make anybody cry in about 30 seconds. So anyway, why can't I see my SSI benefits on my account? I have widow's benefits, and I'm wondering if mine is higher because I will be turning 70 next year, and I'm wondering if I should switch or not. Okay, good question, Kimberly. Yes, so SSI, the welfare-based benefit, you're probably talking about regular Social Security benefits. But with survivor benefits, you don't have to file for benefits on your own record. So you can file for survivor benefits. Remember, survivor benefits, you can start at 60. If you're disabled, you can start at 50, called disabled widow's benefits. But let's say you start your survivor benefits at 60. You started at 60, let's say. So you don't touch your own, and your own continues to increase on your own record. So check it at 65 and see if it's more. If it's more, then switch over to your own. But you wait, and 67, it'll be more. And then the month you turn 70, that's when it'll max out. It will no longer increase because you're delaying. The month you turn 70, please, too many people wait. And they come in here and says, yeah, I'm 72 years old. When should I collect my benefits? 2 years ago. So yeah. So call up Social Security, wait on the phone forever. And then say, hey, how much is a benefit on my own record? And then they'll tell you, and then you can decide whether you want to switch over to yours. Each office gets a report like that. It's called the WIB-RIB report. It's for people who are on WIB, widow's insurance benefits, that could switch to retirement insurance benefits, RIB. And the Social Security offices in each district throughout the country get that report, and they're supposed to send out letters to those people, but people don't get the letters. They don't read them. They don't understand them. It's, they change their address since. So there's a lot of people out there that are 70 or older that have more money waiting for them on their own record, but they don't know they can switch. So again, please share and subscribe and like and reach out to all your friends and family, and let's make sure people get. A lot of people out there really need these benefits. So, Jack, my spousal support was to start in April. I received a letter this week said I had an overpayment, which I haven't received my first check yet. I just turned 60 and still working. Okay. So yeah, if you're working and making over the $23,400 this year, then $1 for every $2 is going to be withheld. Are you talking about spousal support in terms of spouse benefits? If you're 60, then spousal would be surviving spouse benefits. But if you're working, making over the $23,400, then yeah, they're going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. So possibly that is it. Question, X turned 68, February 5th, still working. I, 55, married 25 years, divorced 5 years. Can he claim half of my Social Security benefits? Yes. Once you turn 62, you have to be at least 62. You don't have to file for benefits yet. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. So as long as you're 62 years old, then yes, your spouse can collect benefits on your record. That person has to be receiving benefits on his own record, his or her own record, and your benefit amount, your full benefit amount has to be twice his full benefit amount. So let's see here. People don't fact check stuff and they want to believe untruth because that is the right they pay. They don't get any back, so they're not stealing a retirement fund. Yeah, people really don't fact check too much anymore. I mean, but if you're told the same thing about illegals getting money and the Social Security is all fake, the trust fund is fake and it's all stolen. If you're told that for 10, 20, 30 years, if the lie is repeated enough, even if you fact check it, you still don't believe it because it's ingrained in your cerebral cortex, I guess. And you brain surgeons out there, don't tell me. Please don't send me an email and say it's anyway, another part of the brain. But anyway, is new filing for Social Security first come, first serve, or by the date that people want to start? First come, first serve, basically. Yep. They want to make the agency completely online, but the system is confusing. I've been trying to delete my account since December and it hadn't worked. Yeah, they actually, we did have a small victory recently. DOGE and the acting DOGE commissioner of Social Security tried to end phone service. They immediately walk that back and say, no, that's not what we were intended, but that's exactly what they were intended. I've got from the inside that's what they were intending. but they were slapped on the wrist. So we got a small victory there that the phone service is going to continue. So for filing new claims and everything like that. So, all right. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here. Let me get one more question. I agree filing online would be easier. The major problem might be legitimate paperwork and ID. So at least one visit to Social Security to verify who you are, maybe. Yeah, I mean, the retirement has been on there for a while. They just added getting replacement Social Security cards online. You can file for spouse benefits. You can file for Medicare online. You can file for disability online. But, someone on the other side needs to look at it and check it and make sure your earnings are correct. Make sure your date of birth is correct. Yeah, check your marriage certificate, check your divorce decree, and all that kind of stuff. So a human being actually has to look at it on the other side. I don't think not many people want AI to do everything, where there's no employees whatsoever, and AI decides our future Medicare and all the rest of it. So, all right. I called Social Security a year ago and they answer the phone in 2 minutes, but I had the local number. If you call the 800 number, you wait forever. Something wrong with the transfer function on the 800. Yeah, that's been an issue for a long time. Yes, there is a problem with the transfer function. I don't know if they fixed it recently. But yeah, if you call the local number, and remember, here's an insider trick. Every office in the country is your Social Security office. So if you can't get into the 800 number and you can't get into your local Social Security number, call another office throughout the country and say, hey, I need this. And they will probably say, hey, we're not your office. Why are you calling Utah when you're from Florida? And you just say, on the outside of the building, does it say Social Security Administration? Yeah. Then you are my office. So you can't really do that if you've got a pending claim, and the pending claim is in Florida or something, or if you have a disability claim pending, then you want to stay in the state. But if you got just something else, you got a question or something, call any office. So, all right, I am out of time. I apologize, but I will be back again tomorrow, talk about another topic, and I'll answer a whole bunch more questions. And please have a great night, and please take care of each other. And we'll see you then.